Greetings, NASCAR enjoyers, and I cannot believe we are going to Watkins Glen already. It's too early! And evidence of people's trucks getting stuck in the grass shows. Yeah, it's too early to go to Watkins Glen this year, and NASCAR realized this. So they changed it again for next year. We also get new track limits rules for 2026, which is good. But anyways, this year's Truck Series race at Watkins Glen begins with Brent Cruz jumping to the lead, though don't expect him to win the race. SVG is currently running in 8th. Zillisch tries to dive past, but isn't able to do so. SVG is trying his best to get past Gio Ruggiero. Neither of his attempts worked. Carson Hocevar somehow got past Ruggiero and is now in 7th. Zillisch dove past Honeycutt for 4th and he's now in 3rd. Cruz continues to lead, and no, it's not to be confused with Tom Cruise, it's spelled differently. Brent Cruz is not related to Tom Cruise, he's not Tom Cruise's brother, so get that out of your mind. Look, I didn't come here to see a rando take a win, I came here to see Zillisch or SVG win. SVG finally got past Ruggiero. Took him long enough. And Ben Rhodes is having mechanical issues with his truck. Mozak falls back to 25th and he is having issues with his truck. I'm hoping that pit stops will shake things up, as I do want to see Connor Zillisch get past that rando in the 1 truck. I'm sorry, but I don't follow Brent Cruz. I'm not too familiar with him. I am, however, a fan of Connor Zillisch and Shane Van Gisbergen, so yeah, that's why I'm rooting for them instead of Brent. SVG is holding off Gio Ruggiero. Come on, SVG. Don't let him get past you. Ah, crap. He got past him. Again, I'm hoping that the stops will shake things up. Zillisch and Majeski come down to pit road. Hocevar and a few more drivers then come down to pit road. Eckes and LaJoie get involved with each other, and then Eckes gets into the barrier, but no caution is thrown. Cruz comes down to pit road and he has trouble. Yes! We have the shakeups. Because Cruz pitted, Daniel Hembrick wins the first stage of the 2026 NASCAR Truck Series race at Watkins Glen. But anyways, our first race off pit road begins, and Perez wins the race off pit road. And Ty Majeski has a broken sway bar, which means he might be out of the race. Dang it! Anyways, the second stage begins with Zillisch and Cruz battling for the lead. Yes! Zillisch got past him! Now that's what I'm talking about, man. But not without some good old-fashioned contact. And Cole Butcher has an issue, it gets his truck wrecked. Not again. Despite this, no caution is thrown. Cruz fell back to 4th and SVG is right behind his teammate Ross Chastain. Zillisch locks up when he goes into the first corner on lap 28. Hocevar holds off Cruz and Zillisch continues to lead. Ah, crap. SVG has issues with his truck. Chris Wright goes wide and gets into the grass, but no caution is thrown. He also got involved with Mini Tyrell. I'm surprised that Chris Wright hasn't been fired yet. Yeah, he keeps getting NASCAR rides. He's kind of like the Jar Jar Binks of NASCAR. He just keeps appearing. Yeah. Anyone who's watched the prequels and the special editions will understand that reference. Cruz managed to get past Hocevar, but he's still way behind Zillisch. AJ Allmendinger is starting to move for the field, and Chastain has also moved up to 4th. Brent Cruz and Ross Chastain make their pit stops. AJ Allmendinger and several more also joining alongside them. Kane Honeycutt is next to come down to pit road. Zillisch stays out, and just like that, Connor Zillisch wins the second stage of the 2026 NASCAR Truck Series race at Watkins Glen. And we have some debris. The number 62 truck had got some damage done when he went into the grass, but anyways. Pit road is now open and several drivers make their pit stops during the stage caution. And someone loses a tire on pit road. Wait, how did that happen? The tire also kept rolling, man. That has got to be the most WTF moment in this race, but not the most WTF moment in Watkins Glen. Thankfully, the safety crews picked it up. Anyways, with just 28 to go, the third and final stage begins with Chastain jumping to lead. Even better is the fact that we got a Ram truck at 4th. Yes! Ram is finally in the top 5. About time. Riggs gets past SVG while Ankrum blocks Chandler Smith. Zillisch got past AJ for 4th. Zillisch is now right behind Brent Cruz. And I found out that the two were pals. At least I know something about Brent Cruz now, yeah. I don't know much about that guy, I'm sorry. Zillisch and Cruz battle for 3rd. Cruz is now in 2nd. Zillisch got past Hemrick. Zillisch is getting closer and closer to Cruz while he battles Chastain for the lead. Zillisch breaks aggressively and he is now really close to Cruz. Zillisch dives past Cruz for 2nd. Has contact. Cruz gets loose. Despite this, Chastain continues to lead. Enfinger comes to a stop on one of the corners, but no caution was... Never mind, the caution just came out. Enfinger also has a fuel pressure issue, and that's why the truck stalled. Seriously, it's a road course. You had to call out a full course yellow for that? Well, you should have been a local yellow if you ask me. But I guess NASCAR doesn't do local yellows. Chastain decides to stay out even with the implications of him possibly coming down to pit road. Several drivers still decide to make their pit stops. Riggs wins the race off pit road. Brendan Queen is also running in 8th. The race restarts with Chastain jumping to the lead, and Carson Hocevar gets taken out by AJ Allmendinger, and we get a sudden caution. I guess nothing really stops around. And Chastain gets penalized for a restart violation. Dang it! You had to ruin that moment, didn't you? You had to ruin Ross Chastain's chances of winning. I hate it when that happens. Could be worse as Hocevar cannot continue the race. The race restarts with Zillisch and Ruggiero battling for the lead. A huge wreck at turn 1 occurs, which causes yet another caution. Normally this wreck would cause the red flag, but because Watkins Glen is longer, it doesn't cause the red flag. The race restarts again with Ruggiero and Zillisch battling for the lead. Ruggiero locks up and gets loose, and that causes Connor Zillisch to pull away. AJ Allmendinger is in 5th. Timmy Hill gets damage done to his truck, and the caution just came out. He also got involved with Ross Chastain. Oh my goodness, this is awful. Gio Ruggiero also got a restart violation. Another one. And he got really mad about that one, by the way. Yeah, he complained about it. He also had to come down to pit road. Anyways, the race gets into the green-white checkered phase, and it restarts with Honeycutt and Zillisch bound for the lead. Caden takes the lead. It's the final lap and the battle is on. Even with his best efforts, Connor Zillisch couldn't beat Caden Honeycutt for his first career Truck Series win. Yeah, I didn't think Caden Honeycutt was capable on road courses. I always think that, well, in the St. Petersburg Truck Series, that Joey Hand was driving Lane Riggs' truck. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how Lane Riggs, a guy who isn't even that great on road courses, took a Truck Series win. I really wanted to see Connor Zillisch or Shane Van Gisbergen win. But that didn't happen. But oh well, at least Caden Honeycutt still gets that precious point. Yeah, he still gets those points. The race gets an 8 out of 10 regardless, but I wanted to see Shane Van Gisbergen or Connor Zillisch win. That really would have been a perfect Watkins Glen weekend in a disastrous state. But anyways, it is time to sign off. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, then you know what to do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell just in case I haven't already done so. Catch you guys next time, and peace out. Greetings, NASCAR enjoyers, and we continue the NASCAR weekend at the Glen, which is one of the dumbest dates to have a race at Watkins Glen because of it being in New York. Well, New York State. But anyways, this year's Mission 200 at the Glen begins with Carruth and Allgaier battling for the lead. Out of nowhere, Sam Mayer gets the lead. Cruz also tries getting past Allgaier for 2nd. Jesse Love got past Brandon Jones for 5th, and then Zillisch gets past Austin Hill. Sam Mayer holds off Brent Cruz, but he wasn't able to do it on the first corner of lap 4 as Cruz got past him. And Jeb Burton has a puncture. Zillisch gets past Jesse and is now in 4th. Yeah, don't even try to block him. Patrick Starpoli has engine issues and he's out of the race. Dang it! SVG gets past Carruth. Wilson loses control, but no caution was thrown. Cruz also locks up into the bus stop chicane, aka the inner loop. Zillisch gets past Allgaier for third. Cruz hasn't pulled away with a 6-second lead gap like yesterday's race, as Mayer somehow managed to match his lap times. So far, not much is going on. Just Brett Cruz continuing to lead. Yeah, an seemingly unknown driver is somehow doing very well on road courses. Go figure. Zillisch got past Mayer for second. SVG gets past Allgaier for fifth, but Justin Allgaier isn't slowing down as he bows him for fifth. William Zillisch makes an unexpected pit stop. Ah crap, Austin Hill gets past Roger Carruth for 8, but the good news is that he's not leading. Zillisch comes down to pit road to flip the stage and SVG joins in alongside him. Cruz stays out, and just like that, Brett Cruz wins the first stage of the 2026 Mission 200 at the Glen, and yeah, I'm actually surprised that he stayed out because usually Connor Zillisch or Shane Van Gisbergen would pit in to flip the stage, but Brett Cruz decided to stay out for some reason. Probably because of stage points or something like that. Yeah. Reslov also nearly got past Carruth, but anyways, our first race off pit road begins and Brent Crew wins the race off pit road. Dang it! I was really expecting things to shake up on pit road. Having someone who is fast and someone who has a fast pit crew at the same time is like bringing Batman to a boxing fight. You know that Batman is going to win. Yeah, like, if you have someone who is both fast and has a good pit crew at the same time, it's pretty much like bringing Batman to a boxing fight. Yeah, you're screwed. You know you're screwed. But anyways, the second stage begins with Connor Zillisch and SVG battling for the lead. Here we go. This is the battle that I want to see. Zillisch takes the lead, but SVG keeps up with him. Jesse blocks Cruz and holds him off. LeVar Scott and Jeremy Clements get involved, and the first non-stage caution just came out. Ah, crap. Here we go again. The race restarts with SVG and Zillisch battling for the lead again. This time, SVG takes the lead. Zillisch gets the lead back, Cruz is now in fourth, and he got past Sammy Smith. LeVar Scott loses control again. Just get him off the track already! This brings out another caution. The race restarts again with Zillisch continuing to lead. Brett Cruz got past SVG, but Zillisch holds him off. Cruz gets loose on the bus stop chicane, and that causes Zillisch to pull away a bit. Cruz breaks late on the first corner and at the end of the second stage. But Zillisch doesn't hold back, even if they're besties. Connor Zillisch will try anything he can to take the win. This time, Connor Zillisch wins the second stage of the 2026 Mission 200 at the Glen. I meant to say, at the end of the second stage, the battle is on. Yeah. But anyways, our next race off pit road begins and there's contact. Zillisch wins the race off pit road. SVG had to come back to get his car fixed. Anyways, the third and final stage begins with Cruz jumping to the lead. Zillisch gets past Quapple for ninth. Another caution just came out. Sheldon Creed breaks late and gets into the grass. Several drivers make their pit stops during the caution period. The race restarts again with Brett Cruz continuing to lead. Zillisch tries his best to get through traffic. Not even Corey Day can hold him off. Zillisch is now in third. Holy crapper! SVG just got to ninth already. Never block the best road racer. Zillisch then gets past Brenda Jones. Corey Day comes down to pit road. Cruz is next to come down to pit road and gives up the lead to Zillisch. A few more drivers also join alongside him. Zillisch comes down to pit road and stays ahead of Brent Cruz. SVG is now leading until he pits in on lap 62. Carruth is next to come down to pit road. SVG stays ahead. Both Jesse Love and Austin Hill are staying out as long as they can. Yeah, they think they're David Pearson because of coming up with a strategy. Well, it's Downforce Danny that probably made that strategy call to stay out, even though their tires are really worn. But yeah, it's an RCR thing to stay out, even if you got really worn tires. Zillisch gets past Taylor Gray for third. Austin Hill does a Saboba and attempts to send Zillisch into the wall, but he couldn't hold him off for long. Zillisch gets into the grass and wheel hops. He also breaks the splitter. Despite this, Zillisch continues to get faster. With 1 lap to go, the battle is on. Holy crapper, Connor Zillisch just took the win. Yeah, take that, you championship stealer. That's what you get for stealing Connor Zillisch's championship, Jesse Love. You get revenge. Easy 9 out of 10. An excellent race. And yeah, a lot of people often say that the O'Reilly Series is better than the Cup Series, but I think the Cup Series is still the top series in my opinion, although in some cases I can definitely see the argument. And this time Connor Zillisch played it safe with the victory celebration. I'm glad for that. Yeah, I got to see Connor Zillisch win, and that's what I came here to see. So yeah, excellent race, and it's proof that, yeah, sometimes people are right about the O'Reilly Series being better than the Cup Series. But anyways, it is time to sign off. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, then you know what to do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell just in case I already done so. Catch you guys next time, and peace out. Greetings, NASCAR enjoyers, and we're at the main event. This race also takes place during Mother's Day weekend, and we also get an announcement from one of the drivers' mothers. John Harbuck also gives off the command for the drivers to start their engines, but sadly, it's not from one of the drivers' mothers. Yeah, it's a shame that it's from John Harbuck instead of, I don't know, Denny Hamlin's mother. That would have been really cool. But alas, it didn't happen. But anyways, this year's Go Bowling at the Glen begins with SVG jumping to lead. Grand Am legend and Champ Car veteran Michael McDowell is right on SVG's tail. And yeah, I always thought that Michael McDowell is one of those drivers that's incapable of doing well on road courses, and I always thought at first that he was an oval driver until I found out that he was briefly in the Champ Car World Series late season and has had an open wheel career, and I also found out that he used to be in endurance racing. Yeah, he was in the Grand Am, so he knows a lot about road courses. Believe it or not. Yeah, it's crazy that I didn't even think about that first. I didn't think that Michael McDowell was anything like AJ Allmendinger, but apparently he is another one of the road course veterans. Just like AJ Allmendinger and Shane Van Gisbergen. Zillisch gets past Cindric for 4th and has some contact with him. Both SVG and McDowell have pulled away from the field. Zillisch is now in 3rd. So far, not much is going on. Just SVG continuing to lead. Good old Shane Van Gisbergen, am I right? Always excellent on road courses. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. also went into the grass. Austin Dillon comes down to pit road. Reddick is next to come down to pit road, and Larson joins in alongside him. Zillisch is next to come down to pit road, and Michael McDowell joins in. Zillisch is next to come down to pit road, and Michael McDowell joins in alongside him. A lap later, SVG comes down to pit road and he attempts the Verstappen strat. He managed to stay ahead of Michael McDowell. Yeah, that's the Max Verstappen strat. Go long and then pit in and attempt an undercut or overcut, or however you want to describe it. Yeah. Pit in and stay ahead of the guy who's trying to pass you. Oh, that is how you perform the Max Verstappen strat. His teammate Ross Chastain takes the lead, and just like that, Ross Chastain, the Melon Man, wins the first stage of the 2026 Go Bowling at the Glen. But anyways, our first race off pit road begins, and Ross Chastain wins the race off pit road. That's impressive. Ross Chastain doesn't usually have the best pit crew. Yeah, pit road retention usually is not Ross Chastain's strength, but here we are. The second stage begins with SVG continuing to lead. Zillisch and McDowell battle for second. Zillisch dives past McDowell in the first corner. Gibbs is currently running in 4th. The battle between SVG and Zillisch continues, and a caution just came out. Yeah, and this has gotta be the weirdest caution yet. The weirdest caution of the freaking Watkins Glen weekend. A wind tornado, and it picked up a tent that could possibly have a person inside it. Well, someone's kid. I don't know who could be in it, but that was a freaking weird caution. WTF, mofo. Yeah, we've had many cautions, but none like this. Pit road is open and several drivers come down to pit road while McDowell stays out. Once again, SVG wins the race off pit road. The race restarts with McDowell jumping to the lead. Herbst spins out and loses control, but no caution is thrown. A huge incident occurs on the bus stop chicane, but no cautious furnace. Byron managed to get his car refired, but his toe link is broken. SVG is now in third. SVG is back in the lead after it got past McDowell in the bus stop chicane, aka the inner loop. McDowell falls back to 6th. Zillisch has jumped up to 8th. SVG wins the second stage of the 2026 Go Bowling at the Glen after holding off Tyler Reddick, which, yeah, is a reversal of what happened to Coda. Pit road is open and a few drivers come down to pit road. This time, there will be no race off pit road. The third and final stage begins with SVG continuing to lead. Zillisch jumped up to 7th. Zillisch then overtakes Buescher for 6th. Reddick somehow manages to keep up with Shane Van Gisbergen, which, again, is crazy. Shane Van Gisbergen is a 3-time V8 Supercars champion, and Tyler Reddick is not a driver who I look at as a road course driver. I look at Tyler Reddick as a guy who is usually best at ovals and mediocre at road courses. That kind of guy. Joey Logano breaks late and destroyed one of his tires. And a caution just came out. Logano had to come down to pit road. The same wind tornado that picked up a few infield items was shown again during the broadcast itself. But anyways, pit road is now open and several drivers come down to pit road. But SVG and Reddick stay out. Ty Gibbs wins the race off pit road. Dang it! I wanted Connor Zillisch to beat him on pit road. Could be worse as Riley Herbst gets penalized for going too fast off pit road. Another one. The race restarts with SVG continuing to lead. Holy crapper! AJ Allmendinger just jumped up to 3rd, but Michael McDowell wants to get past him. The battle for 2nd continues. AJ gets past Reddick for 2nd. Even McDowell gets past him. Zillisch is now in 5th. SVG's lead gap has now increased to 4 seconds. Catherine Legg and Josh Bilicki get involved, but no caution is thrown, and we also see another incident with Cody Ware, but that's not shown. Yeah, Cody Ware hit the wall very hard, but they didn't throw a caution for it, and Fox didn't show it. Yeah, Fox basically ignores stuff like this. Go figure. Reddick comes down to pit road. Bubba Wallace is next to come down to pit road. McDowell is now in 2nd and has gotten past AJ. Zillisch jumped up to 4th, and on the next lap, he is now in 3rd. SVG comes down to pit road. He once again does a good job at pulling off the Verstappen strat, which is ironic considering that he is also sponsored by Red Bull. Allmendinger makes his pit stop. Zillisch is getting closer and closer to Gibbs. Come on, man. You can do it. Get past Gibbs, man. Todd Gilliland is seen making his pit stop, while SVG continues to move for the field. SVG is now in 8th. Bubba Wallace spins out, but no caution is thrown. SVG is now in 5th. Zillisch almost got past Gibbs on the inner loop. A huge incident occurred, but the caution did not come out. SVG has jumped up to 3rd. He now gets past Zillisch, and Zillisch comes down to pit road. Gibbs gets loose, and SVG retakes the lead! Yes! That is how you do it. That is how you become amazing at road course racing. You pit in, do the Verstappen strat, and then retake the lead and pass a bunch of cars. SVG knows what he's doing. Holy crapper, he's unstoppable. There's nothing that can hold him back. So yeah, I'm glad he learned from Max Verstappen. Cody Ware got damage done to his car, as mentioned before, but no caution is thrown. McDowell has also gotten past Gibbs. SVG's lead gap keeps increasing. On the final lap, all SVG has to do is not mess up, and just like that, Shane Van Gisbergen wins again at the Glen! Yay! The number 97 won! It's been 21 years since the 97 was in victory lane. And because of that, the race gets a 9 out of 10. It's always amazing to see Shane Van Gisbergen win on a road course. Especially on his birthday weekend. Shane Van Gisbergen is the master of road courses for a reason. He is the master of what he does and the master strategist at pulling off some good moves. Yes, so he's both a master on road courses and a master strategist. And part of that probably comes from him learning from Max Verstappen. Speaking of which, I decided to celebrate Shane Van Gisbergen's win by drinking a Red Bull. So, let's go take a look at it, shall we? Yes! Shane Van Gisbergen won. Yeah. I was hoping for Connor Zillisch or SVG to win, and yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen won. Yeah, I know his car isn't sponsored by Red Bull. He has the Dark Souls car, but it still has Red Bull logos on it, and Red Bull's still a big part of his sponsorship deals. So let's celebrate SVG's win by cracking open a can of Red Bull Zero Sugar. Yeah, it's not the full sugar Red Bull, but unlike the case with Monster Energy on Ty Gibbs for, well, regular Monster, Riley Herbst for Monster Energy Zero Sugar. Doesn't matter which one you get. It's not driver dependent, so let's celebrate. Yeah! Sorry about that, filming just got interrupted. But yeah, it's pretty good. It has a similar flavor to Monster and Rockstar. But it's Red Bull. You can't go wrong. It gets a 9 out of 10, so yeah. That's that. And thank you for watching. If you like this video, then you know what to do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell just in case I haven't already done so. Catch you guys next time, and peace out.